Right now, millions of tiny, invisible projectiles are violently bombarding your eyeballs at speeds ranging from a gentle breeze to literal light speed. And the crazy part? Your eyes are basically eating them. Welcome to the absolute chaotic war zone that is the human eye. We don't really think about it, but your eyes are essentially just two squishy, wet orbs permanently exposed to the elements. They are the organic equivalent of a car windshield, but instead of occasionally hitting a moth on the highway, they are constantly being pelted by an endless barrage of particles. When we say particles, we are actually talking about two entirely different kinds of intruders. First, you have the physical junk, dust, pollen, dead skin cells, and whatever is flaking off the ceiling fan you haven't cleaned since 2019. Second, you have the quantum junk, photons, the fundamental particles of light. Both of these enter your eye every single second of every single day. But they don't just bounce off, and they definitely don't just pile up in there. If they did, your head would eventually fill up with dust and light until you exploded like a terrifying human pinata. So, where do they go? Let's start with the chunky stuff. Every time you walk outside, look at a dusty book, or exist in a room with a cat, microscopic physical particles land on your cornea. To deal with this, your body has engineered a highly sophisticated, multi-stage filtration system that is, frankly, incredibly gross. It starts with the eyelids. Your eyelids are the windshield wipers of the face. Every time you blink, which you do about 15 to 20 times a minute, and yes, you are suddenly very aware of your blinking now, you're welcome, your eyelid sweeps a fresh layer of basal tears across your eyeball. These aren't the emotional tears you cry when you check your bank account. Basal tears are a special cocktail of water, oils, and mucus designed to trap debris. But they also contain an enzyme called lysozyme. Lysozyme is basically biological bleach. If a bacterial particle lands on your eye, this enzyme mercilessly dissolves its cell walls, popping the bacteria like a microscopic water balloon. Once the debris is trapped in the tear film, the blinking motion acts like a squeegee, pushing all that wet, dead bacteria and dust toward the inner corner of your eye. Right there, you have two tiny drain holes called the lacrimal puncta. They function exactly like the drain in a bathtub. The particles get sucked down these holes, travel through a tube called the nasolacrimal duct, and are dumped unceremoniously into the back of your nose. From there, they mix with your nasal mucus, slide down the back of your throat, and drop right into your stomach, where they are dissolved by stomach acid. That's right. Every speck of dust, every microscopic mite, and every piece of pollen that lands in your eye is eventually swallowed. You are constantly eating your own eye trash. Delicious. But what about the light? In order for you to see the screen you are looking at right now, trillions of photons have to physically enter your pupil. A photon is a particle of light, traveling at 299,792 kilometers per second. It zooms across the room, passes through the lens of your eye, and slams into the retina at the back. But what happens to the photon after it hits? It doesn't bounce back out. If it did, your eyes would shoot laser beams like a cut-rate superhero, which would be cool, but incredibly inconvenient for driving at night. Instead, the photon gets annihilated. When a photon strikes a photoreceptor cell in your retina, specifically, a molecule called retinal, it performs the ultimate kamikaze mission. The photon is completely absorbed. It ceases to exist as a particle. Its energy is transferred into the retinal molecule, forcing that molecule to change its physical shape. It basically does molecular yoga, snapping from a bent shape into a straight shape in roughly 200 femtoseconds. This tiny physical snap kicks off a chain reaction, creating an electrical signal that zips up your optic nerve to your brain, which your brain translates as, "Oh, that's a stop sign," or, "That's a picture of a dog wearing a hat." Because the photon's energy was used to change the shape of a molecule, the photon is gone forever. But energy can't be destroyed, only transformed. So, a tiny, minuscule fraction of that energy eventually dissipates as heat. Yes, looking at things very literally, ever so slightly, warms up your eyeballs. So, dust gets swallowed, and light gets assassinated. But there is a third, much weirder type of particle that enters your eye. And to find it, we have to go to space. During the Apollo missions, astronauts started reporting something terrifying. While trying to sleep in their dark bunk beds, with their eyes completely closed, they kept seeing random, bright flashes of blue and white light. It wasn't a hallucination. It was cosmic rays. Space is full of high-energy subatomic particles zooming around at nearly the speed of light, fired off by distant supernovas and black holes. Earth's magnetic field protects us from them down here, but up in space, astronauts are essentially swimming in them. These cosmic particles carry so much energy that they don't bother stopping at the retina. They just smash right through the hull of the spaceship, right through the astronaut's skull, and straight through the squishy jelly inside their eyeball. But here is the twist. The speed of light in a vacuum is the absolute speed limit of the universe. But the speed of light inside eye jelly is about 25% slower. These cosmic particles are moving so incredibly fast that when they enter the liquid of the eyeball, they are actually traveling faster than light can travel through that same liquid. When a particle breaks the local speed of light, it creates a sonic boom, but for light. This is called Cherenkov radiation. It emits a tiny, literal flash of blue light entirely inside the eyeball. The astronauts were seeing light flashes because their eyes were briefly acting as subatomic particle detectors. It's like a rave inside your skull that you didn't RSVP to, hosted by the universe. So, the next time you feel something in your eye, just take a moment to appreciate the sheer, terrifying logistics of what's happening.